it's me again. You're probably getting sick of me by now. So today I was going to talk about relationships. When do you really call it a day in a relationship? Like, I don't know about you, but for me, I find it very hard to walk away, especially if you've been together with that person for a long time, and you really love that person. Even if it's more bad than good, sometimes it's really, really, really hard to walk away, especially if the good times are like phenomenal and mind blowing, and then the bad times are fucked up. Gosh, that was what's going fucked up. When is the right time? When do you actually call it a day and say, you know what, it's over? I mean, I know some people, like I had a friend and she literally, if somebody wasn't right, boom, it's like she just lock it off, done. And then just move on. No regrets, like no mercy. I mean, I've never been able to do that. I feel really sad. And even if I know they're not right or I'm miserable, it's like I'll feel really sad. Gosh, I'm so shiny today. Excuse me. I will, well, my attention span is like nil. I will just stay and think, oh yeah, it's going to get better. It must get better. And, and then we'll have like 2 good days. And then I'm on top of the world and it's going to be great and amazing. And then it's crap again. And it's crap. And all your friends get so sick of like you talking about the same thing over and over again, to a point where like sometimes they don't even want to talk to you for a while until you break up with that person because they're fed up of it. And I mean, it's quite rightly so as well. Like, it must be very frustrating for your friends to watch somebody that you care about just keep making the same mistakes over and over and over again. And it's like, they know it's not going to get better. You know it's not going to get better. But when you're actually involved in it, when you're really immersed in this relationship, it's so hard to kind of see actually things will be better without him or her. It's really hard to kind of, when you're an outside perspective, you can really kind of just, it's black and white, it's like, they're a prick, get rid of them, move on. But, they don't get all the good stuff, like the intimacy and, the laughing and joking and stuff. They don't really get the full kind of whammy of what the relationship is about. But yeah, I've never been that kind of person where I can just walk away from, and it's not just relationships, it's friends as well. Friendships, like, I've had friends that maybe aren't so good for me, and I don't give up on them, and I don't want to walk away, and I don't want to, and then I miss people like desperately for years. I think I miss friends when if a friendship ends, I think I miss that more than actually the relationships. But it's just like, yeah, so when is the time to, like, how many years do you waste? I remember I was in a relationship for like 3 years and it was a nightmare. I mean, this is a long time, it's like 8-9 years ago, and it was a nightmare. It was absolute hell, and I stood with it, and one day I was just like, you know what, I've had enough. I went down to like 8 stone 4. I was tiny. I wasn't eating, wasn't sleeping, blah blah, and and then I was just like, finally I'd had enough, and I was just like, boom, I'm done. And I never really looked back, and I didn't have any upset and any remorse. It's like, do I have to get to that point? Do I have to get to the point where it's too much, and it's just so unbearable that I have no option, or it's a relief to walk away? Like, how can you make it easier? Like, how can you spot the signs? Even like earlier on, you always make excuses for people. It's like you can see traits and then you make excuses for them, don't you? You think, oh well, maybe it's this, maybe it's that. And then once you get into that mode, you'll just keep making excuses for them over and over and over and over again. And I guess it's about kind of knowing what your boundaries are and what you expect from a relationship. Listen, I'm giving advice. Who am I to give advice? I do have a psychology degree, but I don't know if I should give you some advice at the moment. And maybe I'm giving myself the advice. I think that's what let's say that. I'm giving myself a pep talk. I think, yeah, just know what you want. Maybe write a list of all the things that you really want, all the things that are very important you really want, a list of the things that you're willing to compromise on, and a list of the things that you really aren't willing to compromise on. And then maybe have, a ratio. Maybe if it's, you know, you're allowed 3 in that column. And if there's more than 3 or 1 even, or none, that's even better. But I mean, you're hardcore if it's none. And then you can just lock it off. But yeah, I wonder how many of you out there have been like stayed in relationships you know aren't right, maybe aren't going anywhere. You hope they are, but it's like history kind of shows you it's the same cycle. It's good, it's amazing for a few days, then it gets crappy again, and it's crappy for weeks, and then it's a good few days, and then it's only a matter of time before it's crappy again. I will touch more on this subject, I'm sure, as well as kind of other relationship. One thing I'm going to talk about is when men go in the street to try and chirp you. I mean, what is that all about? That is just so unattractive. I wouldn't touch a man with a... If a man does a in me, there's no way that I'm going to be giving you my number. Anyway, that's me signing off for now. It's just a little random thought, as always. I'll speak to you soon.